Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Divide by Sheep. Let's hop into the next puzzle. It's a new day for me, so hopefully I could do a little bit better on these puzzles, these math problems, as it were. Let's see, you've got a couple of swaps here you can do, and you need a mass of one wolf. So it's just going to be a matter of reducing the numbers down. So it almost seems like it's just going to be something along the lines of either this 4 here or this 5 here. But then you can't get a wolf to this spot because the purple here will just screw you over. So that's 6 now, and so we would need 1, which probably means we need something closer to, like, this will get you 2, and then this would get you 1. Then maybe you could get a move here. So you have 2, you have now 4, and you have 3. So between all of those, it would feel like you could get 5, but I'm not sure you really can, and we would have needed a 1 at some point, so we probably have done this wrong. If I threw all of these here, that just feeds all of that, which doesn't really help. And if you were to do it the other way, that just feeds all of this. So unless it is a case where you just needed some room, that probably isn't the answer either. So what can we lose? Like, we have 1 here, so this is probably the sheep you would think you would leave with you. But I don't see how. Like, if anything, it seems like the move is just going to be building up your numbers, splitting things out here. Well, I still want to commit to moving through these levels pretty fast, so my guess on this move probably to do something like that, and then do something like that, I guess, and then that, and that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that will at least get us 1 star. Now the rest of this comes down to feeding wolves, but not feeding all the wolves. Like you do this, and that feeds the wolves, and then that does that, and that gives us 2 stars. And then there's just no way. So the only way you could have 1 wolf is going to be that you need a 5 in this direction. Not a 6, though. And that just doesn't really make any sense. But there's no other possibility. Like, you throw this here, it'll eat that, and I guess that gives us 5. So there's our first group here, or I could feed into this group even. So now we have like 1 wolf to spare. But how do you get to 5 now? It just doesn't seem that doable. Okay. So we'll do an experiment here and then overload that one and see if we can get this star, and see that still I think would count as a 2-star completion. So you do have to get all 3 stars in one run. There certainly are games like this where you could potentially just get 1 star in one group. Okay. So this would get you 5. And then eliminates the wolves, and that I think is part of the problem here. And I think that's something you're trying to probably avoid. If I brought this down this way to 6, I still would need to get this down to 5. And there's just like no smaller grouping here. That's not going to work. And throwing that there isn't really going to work. Throwing that there really isn't going to work. So pretty much to pull this off, you've got to throw this group of 4 here. Which leaves you with 5. Then you've got to throw that here, which leaves you with the 1 wolf you would need. And then we don't have a group of 4 further to deal with. What I could do, or at least try to do, is move these over here. And then, well, I mean, there's not really much more you can do here, is there? Because you throw your wolf this direction. Then let's say you do that. And that gives you 3. Now what? Yeah, what's your move? Now, you would have to do something like this. You'd have to do that, and then you lose your 1. So that didn't even work for what I was going for. Because of the swap. And swapping back doesn't bring back your wolf. And then, if I had gotten all that done right, though, there would be 3 here and 1 here, which could then reduce this down, which wouldn't help you any. Yeah, one more try. Do your 5 here, you swap here, you do this. And then I think you've got to go this direction. Either that or you get a 4 here by doing this. Which I guess maybe that works. And that gives you 5 again. And that can get you your 5. Now the question is, how in the world do you get to 1? I mean, that can reduce you down to a 5 there. Certainly, and then you can go back in circles. But there's no other solution. And had I moved this over here, like that, I give up. Moving on to the next puzzle. Spent too much time on that puzzle. Just moving on. Now we don't have any swapping here, so the first thing we need to do is just lose the wolves. We have small numbers, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to keep a bunch of sheep around unless there's some trick here, which there might be a trick here. This would leave room for only 2s. A big part of this is just going to come down to splitting. Though it's just going to come down to splitting and then eating and then having let's see. That's not going to be right. So let's just figure out how can we get 3 on the field to start with. If you do a bunch of splitting here, and then let's see, you replace a bunch of that, it just gets the numbers very big. Then if we were to throw that there, that seems like you're basically getting random numbers at that point. Yeah, it all seems so random as far as what halves get kept versus what halves don't get kept. So you hit that, and that does give us 1, at the very least. So then, probably you're splitting here, go back this way. And I could potentially do something here, but I'm not sure what. This is too many. 1/2 too many. So if I just had one wolf, that would probably work. But I don't see a way I'd have just one wolf. From this spot, let's see, 2, 4, 6, this would have 5. That gets us to 3 at the very least. And this would get us back to 9. This would get us to 7, and this would get us to 8. But only if the floor was clear could I get to 8. This would get me to 8 also, which would get me to 4. That loses 1. You know what? Whatever. We'll at the very least get 1 star. And then I don't think there's any progress that can be made otherwise. Okay. This here, at the current moment, would get rid of everything here and just have me at 2. And so this really does just come down to a question of, do we want to eat everything here except for that to get 1.5, or do we want to do something bigger? Now we have our 1. I guess the question now is, can we do splits and halves? Is there some way to get 1.5 in this whole mess? I don't think there really is. That gets you 2.5, which would get me to 4. So that should be 4. And then that should be 1. And then there's just 2 missing. Yeah, moving on to the next puzzle. We're making very little progress today. Now we have a whole bunch of swaps, which means if we're going to have 3, we would need to figure out a way, I guess, to swap this one with that one. Okay. Now if we're gonna have 2, we need another 3. Which I guess doesn't... Yeah, I don't see a way you could do that. So let's just give this one more attempt and see how this goes. Yeah. what we have to do, almost certainly, is protect this central spot here by landing probably 5 on it, but our options are either 3 or 4. So if we landed 3 here, then we did that, then we did that, then we need another 3, which means we would need another 2. No, actually, I think this will work. Just land those, and that leaves us with 2. And then here we can go here, and we can go here, and then we can go there, and then we can go there. And on that, we can end this episode at least on 1 3-star. Now, notably, I do have like a twinge to go back to some of these older puzzles and see if maybe I've figured out enough things now to solve this, but I really don't have a lot of faith that that's the case. Yeah. See, if I take out 5 of these shapes, that would leave 3 sheep plus 2. So that's probably the move. But then that uses up all of my wolves. So that can't really be the move. And I totally don't remember what the move was here originally. We need to get rid of 3. That gets down to 5. Which either puts this here or this here. I guess you can fairly safely move around here and then do that. The smallest location would be here to get to 4. So that does imply to me that you're supposed to do this. But then somehow you're supposed to have another 2. Yeah. Somewhere you're supposed to have another 2 sheep just ready to go. Which makes me wonder if maybe it isn't something closer to like this. But I can't imagine that that would really work either. You would be losing just far too many sheep there. See, that's like 6. And then if I was just to feed all these, then you're down to having only 3 spots. Yeah. The only other thought would be to potentially do something like this. That still leaves this need for 2 sheep to somehow still be around. You can really only get to 3s. You really can't get anywhere there. So it does definitely feel like we still have not figured out how to do this math or solve these puzzles in any easier way. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.